Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news.
Opening up with the Marvel Legends series Mark 1 Iron Man. He's been fully revealed in all his silver tin can glory, and as I said when I saw the original reveal on the live stream, he does look good. Like, he looks nice. Yeah, not too bad at all. And I was worried, like, are they going to charge a super premium price for this guy? Is it going to be more like the $30-35 kind of range? And it's not as bad as it could have been. It's not basic prices though either. He's going to be going for $28.99. So that is above your average, but it's not in the stupid prices that they were charging for some figures, like $35.99 for PlayStation Spider-Man and some of the ridiculous exclusives that are like, wow, y'all just want to straight up insult your fans, don't you? Whereas this guy, no, he's a little more high-end, but you know, there is more that's gone into him. I'm never going to defend prices, but I will just say that at least that kind of makes sense with what they're currently doing. You know, that's the nicest I can say. Besides the fact that the figure does look nice. You know, he could have maybe come with some more accessories. Like, he's got the teeny tiny little blast effects that come out of his boots, and I'm thinking, like, was that an aesthetic decision? Like, because it's Mark 1 Iron Man, like, he doesn't have the technology for big booster jets? Like, that kind of fits with the headcanon? Or was it just like, hey, we could use the really big, impressive booster jets, but just don't wanna. It's cheaper to use these. Because I think it looks silly. You've got this huge, big, fat, hulking, chunking Iron Man and little firecracker party poppers coming out of his feet. Nah, I don't buy that. But besides that, the rest of him looks kind of cool. So, yeah, I think this is a nice addition to your Marvel Legends. Let's see what he looks like when we get him in hand. Well, I mean, I won't get him in hand. It'll be like 2026 before he comes out over here. Action figures have been building up for a while now, and it's got a little bit overwhelming. I'm like, well, how far am I going to go back with this news? Well, let's start the most recent, and then work our way back and, you know, see when Dave just runs out of attention. It normally takes about 5 minutes. But this morning, I got an email, personally no less, from Hasbro saying, yo, there's a new Scarlet Witch coming out. And I was like, didn't we just get a Scarlet Witch from the WandaVision? Oh, it's pretty much the same figure. Okay. This is from Multiverse of Madness, so this is Evil Scarlet Witch, but it's pretty much WandaVision Scarlet Witch, but it's not part of a wave, no big Build-A-Figure piece or anything, so you can get her if you want, or you can leave her. It's entirely up to you. The choice is yours. You pay your money, you make your choice. But at least this one has a cute little Darkhold book, so that's kind of fun. But that's about it, really. She's the Target exclusive. And I'm going to say that again because I garbled it. She is a Target exclusive. There you go. See, that's more of my radio presenter voice. I just woke up. I'm trying to do this before work. And, you know, occasionally you just got to do a little voice exercise to... There you go. Oh, went full John Cena there. Regado. So, yeah, she looks nice enough, but nothing that's really going to mash my potatoes. She's a Target exclusive, so if you want her, you're going to have to go over to your local Target, look for the red circle, and see if you can find her somewhere. I don't think she's going to be like prime scalper fare, though, so you're probably safe. I imagine she'll be on the pegs for a little while. If she is, you can pick her up for $24.99, which is the standard Marvel Legend price now. I think they would have been hard-pressed to have charged much more for her, you know, she's kind of basic. And if you don't have a Scarlet Witch from MCU, well, can literally just get the WandaVision one that's probably on discount now. But nonetheless, there you go. You got an option. Hasbro also just teased a little picture of their Secret Wars Doom showing that he has either a removable face mask or a completely separate Victor Von Doom head. And probably the latter, I would imagine, with a removable face mask accessory. And that's kind of fun. I thought at a glance that figure was one of the weaker reveals from their live stream, so the fact that they're throwing in a few extra bells and whistles, it's no bad thing. Sticking with Hasbro, but going over to the Star Wars Black Series, we got a vintage 4-pack collection of Tusken Raiders. Not too much to actually say about them. They're the vintage collection Tusken Raiders. They're does what it says on the tin, really. So you can go and pick those guys up, or you could also get yourself a Pike Soldier in the Black series. And look, this is obviously from Book of Boba Fett. Not a huge fan, in case I hadn't mentioned that before. I think I might have mentioned it once or twice. But I thought the Pike soldiers, the masks, they look kind of cool. You know, they're sort of faceless, a bit Cybermen-ish from Doctor Who. There's a bit of a comparison there, I feel. They look kind of cool, and you can pick one of these guys up as well, and yeah, expand your Book of Boba Fett collection. Who wouldn't want to do that? We're going to come in hot with Hot Toys, and oh my goodness, Marvel Mech Strike Black Panther. This is a lot in every way, shape, form, and regard. So, Hot Toys fans, gird your loins and guard your wallets, because $469.99 is what this guy is going to cost you, and he's going to come out around about the second and third quarters of 2024. I wanted to say that quickly because I had the notes right in front of me, and I'm like, boom, get them out before you forget where you wrote them. This thing looks pretty incredible, though. I mean, just take a look at him. So from the Marvel Mech Strike mini, the whole idea, of course, is that Iron Man kits out all the various Avengers with their mechs, and yeah, that's it. But doesn't he look great? It's a Marvel Transformer. You've got Black Panther transforming into a panther, and it looks incredible. Hot Toys, again, they kind of just nailed everything. Not only that, but it's got a kind of a luminescent, oil slick looking kind of paint job, which apparently under black light will look all, you know, beautiful and luminescent. Honestly, though, I would not want to shine any black lights around my bedroom. Let's just not do that, okay? I'm sure he looks fine under, you know, normal lighting conditions too. We'll leave it at that, okay? But I think, yeah, he looks absolutely stunning. The different sort of articulation and the way he's been sculpted and put together, he just looks like this anime mech type creature, and then doing a Hot Toys Transformer. That's not something we've seen before, I don't think. Stop me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen something quite like this. So bravo for a bit of innovation and a new way of approaching these action figures, because, you know, Hot Toys have pretty much run the gamut for all the Marvel characters. I say that, there's always thousands more they could do. But this iteration of Black Panther, yeah, he looks pretty freaking cool. Neca have shown some more upcoming figures as part of their haul-a-thon, and I'm not going to linger too long, but there are some nice pictures. First of all, the final piece of the TMNT Universal Monsters crossover puzzle is fully revealed with their Casey Jones. We've seen some pictures already, but they're like, here, have some more. And it's nice that they did. I don't like this guy because he actually just looks really like too creepy. It's like, all right, well done, Neca, you did it. You've made turtles too scary for me now. I'm like, I wouldn't want this guy on my shelf. Like with the broken up hockey mask, the phantom look underneath. I'm like, nope, don't need that. Don't need that guy staring at me from my shelf. When they do the monsters, the turtles mashups, they're fine. They're still kind of cute and cuddly. The Casey Jones looks terrifying. No thank you, sir. Get behind me, Satan. Not today. Then also, speaking of no thank you, sir, that's pretty much what the entire world said to Rob Zombie when he released his Monsters movie. I ain't seen it. I watched the trailer though, and I was like, this is a real film that, like, a studio gave someone money to make and put out? Wow. But look, I know that Rob Zombie has some hardcore fans, so, you know, more power to you. I don't, you know what, I went full anti-model behavior there. I started bashing something that I wasn't familiar with. But at the same time, come on. And I've seen a lot of Rob Zombie's output. It's not good. In my personal opinion. And I keep going like, Dave's being a dick. Dave pulls himself back and then doubles down on being a dick. Hey, it is what it is. If you like it, that's awesome, and you can pick up the count. And yeah, that's it. Immortalize the Monsters movie, which I'm sure is great. Speaking of great, though, we do have something that is objectively some of the finest media entertainment ever made. And that is, of course, Alf. From the 1980s, the beloved Muppet alien who comes to Earth and lives with a family in the suburbs. We've got a few new recent Alf figures from Neca, and now we've got two more cartoonified versions as well. And they're just fun little, you know, cheaper version reaction. Not reaction, that's Super 7, but you know what I'm saying. Do you? Or do you not? I wouldn't blame you. Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. But we got two new Alf figures, so there you go. better end this segment now. It's already off the rails. Sticking with Sideshow, but going from one thing to something completely different, we're getting the Outlaw Josie Wells. We've had a few different Clint Eastwood figures, and now we're getting one of his most famous cowboy guys. I don't know. I don't watch many westerns or clearly speak to human beings, because even if you don't watch films, you should be able to form sentences. But here we are. So yes, we're getting the Outlaw Josie Wells. Let me just give you some of the info, and then we can move on from this train wreck segment. So he's going to be $280, sort of standard price for your standard hot toy. No transforming Black Panthers here, and he's going to be available around about November this year to, you know, like first quarter of next year. So yeah, if you're a big time Josie Wells fan, then well, you know, this one's tailor-made for you. And hey, it's Hot Toys, so he has literally been tailor-made. Actually, you know what? I might have been slightly wrong, because I was saying Hot Toys, but it's technically Sideshow. And a Sideshow, the distributors of Hot Toys, but they're not actually Hot Toys. I mean, you always get the double branding. I have to do some research on that. So scratch Hot Toys from my vocabulary on that last segment. However, it is Sideshow, who like they are like a parent company maybe, or just like the people, the warehouse that distributes them. Business talk. Welcome to Business Talk with Model Behaviour, where we business good. Let's go a little D&D now with Strongheart and Zarak. Now look, these were the two figures. I don't know why I said it like that. Like, look. Pay attention, alright? Sit down and shut up. I got news to report. Didn't mean to be so aggressive. Those were the two figures. The first two D&D figures were the ones that I bought right before leaving. Because it was stupid to buy figures right before leaving. I'm like, well, I'm going to have them for a day and then box them up in storage. But I thought they looked so beautiful. I just had to do the reviews on them. Probably shouldn't have bothered. No one watched those. But we're getting two more for the line, and they look equally good. You've got mustachioed medieval knight looking guy, Strongheart, and yeah, he looks fine. I don't know, there's something about like the old cookie duster there. I think it looks like a little bit kind of goofy. Reminds me a bit of Sir what's his name from Ghosts and Goblins. So that's actually kind of fun. And then you've got like the little goblin dude, Zarak. Is it? Let me have a little look at the notes there. Yeah, Zarak, Ultimate Zarak. Apparently. They're both going to be $37.99, so the same price as the previous two dudes, whose names I forget. No, I was trying to... Nope, they're gone, but you know who I'm talking about. I literally owned them. Can't think of their names, though. But yeah, I really like the Zarak. He's like, oh, come here, I'm going to steal your pot of gold. He looks a bit sort of, you know, impish, yeah, a little like an evil Lucky Charms kind of guy. And then, yeah, Strongheart's kind of fun, too. Very Mythic Legions kind of feel going on there. I said that about the previous two as well. I'm liking what Neca are doing with this line. They're not cheap, but they're pretty fun. Now, this goes to show how out of date this video is, because we're finally going to talk about the Mattel Creations WCW Kickstarter set. Yeah, you know, the one that was mentioned like a week ago. It's been busy. It's been a busy time. I'm doing my best here. So we've got this beautiful, amazing looking WCW Nitro stage. It's got apparently over 100 LED lights that go into it, the rampway, the huge big WCW letters. Like, it's bee's knees. It really is. But question is, are enough people going to want to pony up the dough for it? It's going to take 5,000 backers, each backing $400. And I don't know. That is a big chunk of change. And you don't actually have a WCW ring that goes with it. So, I mean, if you did though, you'd have to have like, put an entranceway. It would take up a whole room. So actually, you know what? Just for photography, for taking pictures of the figures walking out, actually, you know what? That's fine. You don't need the ring as such. I'm just trying to, you know, not be a dick, not try and find holes in things that I don't necessarily need to. And apparently they are going to be releasing a WCW ring separately later. That probably won't be a Kickstarter, so that's okay. And also they've shown off their Raw is War set, which will be a Kickstarter at some point as well. So it's a whole lot of kicking going on. It's a super kick party. Super kick party. Super kick. So you get some early bird bonuses as well if you sign up in time, which might have expired by now because this video is so late. You could have got a first appearance Hulk Hogan, which is like first appearance in WCW, which is, you know, several thousand appearances Hulk Hogan by the time he actually gets to WCW. He was it's kind of past his prime by that point, and then went on to wrestle for another, 15 years. Hey, there's money on the table. Then also just the set as a set, regardless, comes with Rey Mysterio Jr. And then you've got the additional tiers as well. I'm trying to think who was there. You got a DDP, you got a Scott Steiner, you got a Warrior. I don't know how great those choices are. I mean, Warrior in jeans is like the worst Warrior, and Scott Steiner, we've had like a few Scott Steiners. He looks kind of fine, but like there's nothing that I saw that went, oh wow, that's going to be like really encourage people to go for it. So I don't know. As of today, there's about 1,500 backers. That's a long way. You got a long way to get home until you hit that 5,000. So honestly, I can't see this one funding. I think it might be a little bit too niche and a little bit too big. I don't know how many WCW fans have the space and the capital to want to get this set. But hey, look, I always wish folks well in everything they do. I hope this is a success for Mattel. Time's gonna tell. Time's gonna Mattel. Am I right? That's terrible. One thing I think does look just like a home run. Mezco Storm Shadow. Although we can't always be certain that Mezco are going to be home runs. There have been some mixed reports on the recent 89 Batman that just came out and the Superman preceding him. So Mezco, you might want to get your house in order a little bit. Make sure that whole quality control and the whole pictures matching what eventually comes out, it all has a bit more synergy. Because, I love you. One of my favorite toy producers, but got to get that consistency. And if they do that with this new Storm Shadow, whew, this guy could be an absolute highlight. I mean, just look at him. I saw some people saying that they kind of want to get him just for all the ninja accessories as well. And you can do for $95. Apparently going to be coming out around about December this year, but it's Mezco, so let's not be silly. Maybe December next year. Maybe. Can't believe that they even put December this year. It's just not going to happen. I see something like that and I just think, you're lying! Why do you turn my room into a house of lies, Mezco? But that notwithstanding, the Storm Shadow looks really beautiful. He always has the ninja gi, which of course is perfectly represented with the soft cloth goods. Don't think he looks too socky either, so we'll probably rank quite low on the sock it to me scale. I think they could be onto a winner with this. Their G.I. Joe line seems really promising. If they can just start to get them out the door with some reasonable kind of frequency, that could be a pretty incredible set they're putting together. And that does it for action figure news, but going on to movies and TV now, this is something that's kind of interesting. Legendary Pictures, which is the production company that have made all the Godzilla movies and Godzilla vs. Kong and all that kind of stuff, they have just acquired the rights to Street Fighter. Now, we have had a lot of live action Street Fighter movies over the years, and when I say a lot, I mean like 2 or 3. Not actually that many, but it feels like a lot. Still, nothing has topped the animated movie from like the early 90s. That, absolutely fantastic. They've never been as good as that. Bryan Cranston did the voice of Fei Long. Can you believe that? Walter White was in the Street Fighter movie. That's awesome. Regardless, if Legendary are making a new Street Fighter movie, I'm on board. I want to see this. I want to see what happens, because the last Street Fighter one, The Legend of Chun-Li or whatever, it's kind of a direct-to-video sort of deal. Whereas now, maybe a bigger budget, maybe staying more true to the idea of the game. Because, the Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia one, they tried to make it more of a G.I. Joe sort of thing. And as, stupid in hindsight as it seems, I get it from a marketing standpoint. I can see why they were doing that. But if we just go for classic Ken, Ryu, Chun-Li, Bison, just having their street fighting fun, I could be down to clown with this, so I'm excited to see where they go. Because Legendary, they've had some better movies than others. I think the earlier Godzilla ones were better, and Kong vs Godzilla, it wasn't terrible, but it was just a bit too much of a firework display for me. I wanted something I could more get a little more emotionally invested in. But having said that, it still wasn't bad. That's the important thing. With the Street Fighter stuff that we've had before, I will happily take not bad as a win. So I'm going to watch this one quite closely and hopefully we get something kind of cool. Speaking of kind of cool, we had the blue-beetel trailer come out, and I know nothing about blue-beetel. That won't be a huge shock to you. But this trailer looks kind of fun. It doesn't look like something I feel like I need to go to the cinema to see, but something that if a buddy of mine's like, hey Dave, I'm going to watch blue-beetel, you want to come over and see it? I'd be like, yeah, go on then. The dude from Karate Kid, I like him, and the whole cast looks like in the trailer, they have good chemistry and kind of fun. It looks like the most by the numbers superhero movie though, but also I kind of appreciate, well, that's it, it's the superhero origin, it's blue-beetel, like that's what it is, you know. You can't necessarily tell a superhero origin story and completely reinvent the wheel, because that's just what it is, unless maybe you can, because you know who did do that? Spider-Verse. The first Miles Morales Spider-Verse movie took the whole superhero origin thing and just went bug nuts crazy awesome with it, and they're doing it again with Across the Spider-Verse. As well, you know, this isn't news, but there is a new trailer. I wasn't going to watch it at first, and then people kept on sending me pictures of Scarlet Spider from the trailer. It's almost like I'm a fan of the Scarlet Spider. I don't know how anyone got that impression, but here we are. But I caved in and I watched it, and I'm glad that I did, because it doesn't reveal too much of the plot or anything. You find out, of course, there is this nexus of spider people, which is kind of run by Spider-Man 2099, and he's trying to do a good thing to stop a bad thing, and he needs to stop Miles from doing a thing, and Miles is like, no, I gotta do this thing, it's all gonna work out okay, and he's like, I don't think it is. That's pretty much the plot of Across the Spider-Verse, but it looks like fun. Maybe in danger of being a bit too wacky. That's my only concern. The original Spider-Verse had so much heart to it that even with things like Spider-Ham, there you go. I'm not going to edit that. Even with Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir being wacky, it still had that heart and that seriousness and that realness. This looks like, I don't know, it might be in danger of just being too slapstick bonkers. But I'm hoping not. I trust them. They've won credit with me. So when Across the Spider-Verse comes out very soon, we're all going to find out. And it's also been recently announced that there is going to be a live-action Moana remake with Dwayne Johnson, you know, playing Maui as he did in the animated version. And does the world need this? I don't think it does. The animated Moana was excellent. I thought it was one of, you know, Disney Pixar's best, you know, movies from the last few years. So many catchy tunes, beautifully done characters, just a feast to everything. So you know they're going to remake it and it's going to be all dark and desaturated and just not as much fun. But hey, you know, the good old Dwayne Johnson, he needs a win. He's had a rough year or so. So let's throw him in a surefire hit, which is going to be a live action Disney movie. And that actually wasn't sarcastic, because even though they're generally like not that well received by critics, they make bank. They make a lot of money. So I think, you know, Dwayne's pocketbook, or more to the point, his pride might be hurting a little bit after the whole Black Adam debacle. So I'm sure he's like, yeah, live action Disney remake, let's do it. Over in comic books, we're getting a Spider-Boy in the new Dan Slott Spider-Man series. I say new, it's up to issue 7 now, where we're going to get the reveal of Spider-Boy. And he's getting a lot of press, so much so that Marvel Comics have already gone back to the printing presses to print more, because they seem to think that this could be a thing. And one way of guaranteeing that something won't be a thing is by saying, this is definitely going to be a thing. But they're gonna try and push their luck and hope that it is. No idea who Spider-Boy is. It's a difficult gamble to think that this is gonna really take off, because Spider-Man is just oversaturated with thousands of variants of Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. That's the whole point, you know. There's an infinite number. So one random new one, like, is that going to be a thing? What is going to be different about him, though, apparently, is Dan Slott has said this isn't a Spider-Verse character. This isn't someone from another dimension. This is a 616 character. And he kind of teased that they've been around for a while, and we just, like, haven't known about them. It might have just been a flippant throwaway line, but he was like, oh yeah, he's been involved in all these different things. Or has he? And it's like, okay, you had my curiosity. You might have my attention. we're going to find out who this guy is. Thing is, though, they're saying like, oh, it's Spider-Boy. But I'm thinking like, well, it wasn't Miles Morales? Like, he's like the Spider-Boy, the youthful version of Spider-Man. So it seems like there's a bit of redundancy here. And yet we still can't get a role for Ben Reilly as a spider person because, heaven forbid, we have too many spider people. Get out of here. Still, all that complaining aside, I am kind of curious. Sticking with the spidery characters, one series that's actually kind of surprisingly good is Red Goblin. So this is Normie Osborn, the grandson of Norman Osborn, who makes me feel old because that character is growing up too quickly. Because they grow up so slow in Marvel Comics, and yet he's now kind of a young man. And I'm like, I literally remember when that character wasn't even born. And that must be a lot of years now. So he has got the Goblin serum in his blood, but also part of the Carnage symbiote as well. So he is the Red Goblin. And it's a cool story about trying to argue about nature versus nurture. And that is the storyline that we're going into now with issue 6, where he's trying to control the savage impulses of the Carnage symbiote remnants in him. And it's a question of, can you condition something inherently evil to be good? Or is anything inherently evil? And the answer, judging by some of this art, is probably yes. Yes, some things are inherently evil. This ain't gonna go well. And just to show that I'm not completely biased for Marvel, got a little DC story for you here. For the first time in a long time, DC are going to reunite Batman and Robin in a standalone / ongoing. What does that even mean, Dave? Those are two completely opposite things. In an ongoing series, the first ongoing series with Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne working together as a partnership for a long time. Obviously, they have had that dynamic before, but it's been a while since they were paired up. Bruce and Damian doing their thing, Batman and Robin. And I can only guess that maybe this is to have a little bit of synergy with the upcoming Batman and Robin movie that's going to be coming out with James Gunn's new DCEU relaunch, revamp, whatever you want to call it. Although I imagine that movie is still a good couple of years away, so maybe they're just trying to precondition the audience to be like, hey, Bruce Wayne, Damian Wayne, it's a thing. Check them out in theaters in 2026. In pro wrestling news, of course, we have just had WrestleMania. I'm not going to go all into WrestleMania because that would be a whole 1 hour video in and of itself. But I'll say it was a spectacular 2-day event with a very surprising, slightly baffling ending. And there might be a reason for that, because the other big story is WWE has been sold. Kind of sold / merged with the UFC, which is kind of crazy and bonkers. The UFC's parent company, Endeavor, have paid literally billions. Apparently, the estimated value of these two companies together is $21 billion. And neither one of these companies on their own is worth more than 10. But the rationale is that them combined with their pulling marketing power is worth about that. And Vince McMahon is officially back. He is back, and that's why people are like, ooh, WrestleMania ended kind of surprisingly, and the Raw after was pretty bad. Is Vince back? And he might be, but it doesn't really bother me because WrestleMania is over, so I've cancelled my WWE subscription for another year, so it's no skin off my nose. But it's going to be a very interesting story to follow to see what happens now in WWE now that it has been sold. But everyone was saying like, oh, at least we'll get rid of Vince when the company's sold, and no. He's literally going to be there until he crumbles to dust. It does baffle me, though, that Vince McMahon was off TV for so long because of the whole sex scandal. And then he comes back. We get to see him make his appearances back in public. And he's grown a diddler-tash. Who gets accused of sexual impropriety and thinks, I know what I'll do. I'll grow a moustache that makes me look like a sex pest. Wait, what? No, you do the opposite thing. Don't make yourself look like a diddler. No, I'm going to put Rudy Giuliani shoe polish in my hair. It's like, wow, that's, This is the decision maker who's going to be getting his fingers back in the booking of WWE. This is why I'm out. Over in merchandise, if you've already got a bad taste in your mouth at the thought of all those Disney live-action remakes, why not cast your mind back to the good old days of 2D beautiful animation with the Lion King Scar statue from Iron Studios. This guy's going to set you back about $500 About 500 bucks, mate. Been hanging out with too many Aussies. So, yeah, it looks really nice. I just thought I wanted to show him to you. Scar's always going to be one of my favorite Disney villains. Be prepared. Oof. One of the best Disney songs ever. And the next story is a simple shout out to Sarah Money Cosplays for Cosplay Corner, who does a lot of Marvel cosplays and a lot of old school retro 90s Marvel cosplays. And that's always going to hit me in the old nostalgia feels right there. The Jubilee one, I think, is kind of cool as well. So go and give her a little follow over on Instagram. But also, while I'm doing the sort of the creator kind of side of things as well, I want to give a shout out in the old little custom corner to a beautiful Scarlet Spider custom that was shared on the Model Behaviour Facebook page. Go join it if you haven't. There's a lot of cool stuff there. So a big shout out to... you know what? I had to pause to check the name, and then I saw that when I typed the name, autocorrect changed it to something else. I'm like, dang it, autocorrect, you're not helping. So I think that the last name though was unchanged, which is Soriano. So Mr. Soriano, there you go. I'll just be more formal. Mr. Soriano, thank you for sharing your talents with Model Behaviour. That Scarlet Spider looks awesome. The kind of cell shading sort of look like that's what those kinds of comic book style shadows and lighting should look like. And actually, like, it does. Like, that is exactly what some of the artwork of the Scarlet Spider looked like in the 90s. So cool. Brother, keep up the great work, and thank you for sharing on the Facebook page. And folks, that does it for Good News for today. Thank you so much for watching. We had a lot of stories to cover, so there was a little bit of racing. I was just firing these stories at you. But I hope that you enjoyed them. If you did, comment below, let me know. What do you make of the topics that we covered? And also, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you got to do. You got to join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Also, guys, if you want to go one step further in supporting the channel and also see some more of like my life in Japan, kind of like video logs and all that kind of stuff, you can go over to patreon.com/displaying-model-behaviour or get yourself a channel membership, and I will post the same videos on both of those. Whichever one is just more convenient for you, you can sign up to them, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing in Japan, like going around the streets doing little toy tours, and there's stuff that I think this maybe isn't like primary channel content, but there's a lot of stuff that I think folks who are more invested in this whole wacky adventure that I'm on would get a real kick out of. Plus also doing some big time features on there as well, such as commentary for the X-Men animated show, which is being a lot of fun right now, and also going through a series where I review every Marvel legend ever made. That's a whopper. So if you want to toss a couple of bucks my way and help keep the lights on, then that's the way you can do it. Gang, thank you so much for watching. It was nice of me to put these plugs at the end, so you could just switch off and watch another video while I go into that. Gang, thank you for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time